It was 7 a.m. when Detective Jack Yu stepped into the frigid dawn spreading over Sunset Park. A slate-gray Brooklyn morning with single-digit temperatures driven by wind shrieking off the East River. He scanned 8th Avenue for the Chinese Sea-Gay radio cars but saw none. Only a couple of Taipan minibuses, Sai Ba, queued up a block away from the Double 8 Cantonese restaurant. The wind gusted fierce, and he regretted not wearing one of his Army Airborne sapper hats. The minibuses were slower than the car service jocks, but with early morning rush hour traffic already streaming into Manhattan, it wouldn't make much difference. And although he'd wanted the quiet solitude of one of the black radio cars to review his thoughts for his appointment with the NYPD assigned shrink at the 9th Precinct, he'd also felt the need to be connected, wanted some proximity to Chinese people, his own people, civilians. The 25-minute bouncy rush across the BQE to Manhattan's Chinatown, an undulating ride to people's jobs, schools, to whatever their piece of the gum shan Gold Mountain demanded of them, would work as well, he decided. "Leng kuai," the driver said in Mandarin, and Jack handed him the $2. Jack took a window seat and shifted his Colt Detective Special along the small of his back so that it wouldn't poke him as he sat against the worn seat cushions. A Hong Kong variety show played over a monitor behind the driver, more static than music, beneath the banter and cell phone conversations of the other dozen passengers. Chinese-American life on the expressway, Jack mused. With Pa's passing, he was alone at the end of the Yu family line. He could see the Verrazano Bridge fading in the distance, the Guinea gangplank, as they swerved away from the Brooklyn Chinatown. The minibus shifted gears for the highway. From his window, he saw broad residential tracts, industrial parks, high-rises leading the way to the office buildings of downtown Brooklyn. Housing projects and ghetto neighborhoods rushing by. Jack took a deep Shaolin boxer's breath through his nose and tried to collect his thoughts. It had been 6 months since his return to the Chinatown precinct, before his old man passed away. His Fifth Precinct cases had taken him to West Coast Chinatowns and back to New York City. But along the way, he'd processed a dozen dead bodies, had been beaten by Triad thugs, mauled by a pit bull, and shot twice. He'd also killed 2 men. All this, especially the last 2, would be of interest to the shrink. He was advised that it'd be good to talk about it. Cemeteries, graffitied rooftops whistling by, the minibus shifting gears again, billboards beckoning poor people to Atlantic City to gamble away their monthly checks. And then, just as suddenly, the memory that there was a woman in his life now, a fiery Chinatown lawyer going through a messy divorce. They had become drinking buddies, then graduated to friends, and finally, they'd crossed the line. They'd shared a weekend together, and now he couldn't keep Alexandra, Alex, out of his mind. The minibus made its gassy sprint through the edge of Brooklyn toward the Manhattan Bridge, and before he knew it, he saw the icy East River below. He thought he'd have known better than to get involved with someone going through an acrimonious divorce, with a young daughter, sure to face custody and support issues. But in light of all that had happened in Chinatown, and after, when they'd been by each other's side, there was no longer any need to tiptoe around their feelings. They'd crossed the line that separates friends from lovers, and in the back of his cop's mind, he wondered what the consequences would be. The river wind reminded him of the salty scent of silk sheets curled damp around Alex as she lay naked next to him. He wanted to bring her something sweet. Jack hoped to squeeze in an early bird meeting with Captain Marino, CO of the 5th Precinct, before picking up some desserts from the Tofu King around the corner from the station house. He'd still have time to drop off the sweets at Alex's Lower East Side storefront office, then catch a bus north.